No. Get out of here, Pastor. Go to sabbatical. Go to sabbatical. Go to sabbatical. We don't want to talk about sexual immorality. Oh, not in the American church. We don't want to talk about that, right? But listen, I don't want to beat you up, but I just want to tell you that in the scriptures, sexual immorality, God hates it with a passion because it's a sin against your own body. Sexual immorality is worship with another human being before God. That's why they put prostitutes in the temple in the Old Testament. So when you're laying down and you take something that God intended for the covenant of marriage to watch bind two human beings together, man, when we use it for our own personal edification, our own personal desires, it defiles the heart. Man, this became important to me. I was telling the early brothers and sisters, I remember when my wife and I got saved. I'm going to put myself out there. I already got permission, so I can say this again. I know your mother might be watching, but we in too deep now, right? I remember when I first got saved, my wife and I first got saved, we lived in an apartment together. She couldn't afford to get her own apartment. I couldn't afford to get my own apartment. And I remember that first night, man, after we got saved, I came out that bathroom weeping tears. I knew God saved me, but my wife, I'm attracted to her. That one right there. And I remember, man, I went into that room and we blessed the Lord that night. Laid it down that night. But I was a Christian now. So as soon as it was over, I felt guilty for the first time. It's like, and now the spirit alive in me brought the law of sin in me, and I'm like, oh snap, this don't feel good. And you know what I did? I started sleeping on the couch. And she stayed in the bedroom, and I set a boundary so I can honor God. And for months, I stayed on the couch. She stayed in that bedroom. Did not touch her after that first night. We got married in an office. I went to a pastor and said, listen, I don't want to be in sin. Can you So he married us in private. Nobody knew. So we could be holy at home. And then we had a public wedding later on. And everything, we were so broke. Because remember, I lost my job. I was in prison the day after I got saved. I lost my job at the TSA, had no job. And God moved on people's hearts to pay everything for our wedding. We honored him in private. He honored us in public. We honored him in private. He honored us in public. Man, and I just pray some of y'all would hear, like, that you would hear this and be like, you know what? I pray that there'll be an explosion of weddings or an explosion of separations. One of the two. Like people in this room, because like I want people in our church to take sexual immorality. Listen, this thing in our culture, I want us to take it serious. I actually want to pastor a church where people are taking sexual immorality serious. Like we're either marrying people left and right, or people are breaking up left and right. They're creating boundaries left and right. Like, I really want couples to be like, yo, you look good, like, babe, you look good, but boundary. You know what? Why don't you have a different kind of sex? Have sex with each other's mind. Have sex with each other's spirit. Why don't you make love with conversation and honor God with your body? Watch how clear your mind is gonna be. Move on, Philip. Move on.